we've got a situation going on in Bristol, and I'm going to ask Mark Lane, who is our guru you met. We've put a new system online, and when Mark left, it was to go online yesterday morning at 6 o'clock. Now here's what I don't know. He left at 5. I just talked to Wes. I said, Wes, is it working? Wes said, we haven't heard. Said, Mark told him, if you have a problem, get in touch with him. Now, Mark, if you'll bring, Mark brought us this system, and he wanted to show the people our technology.
This is a tech demo, right? A live tech demo.
Now, don't no one try to copy this. And I'm going to have to use this in case there's a problem that Mark, if they call, you interrupt me so we can get it taken care of.
Mr. Mayor, is the system online?
Yes. All right, you sit down, Mark, and if it's not working, they'll let you know, and you haven't heard anything yet.
No, I haven't. There may be some congestion on the line.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Mark. You just keep that handy.
Well, I'm very honored to be up here with His Honor, Mayor Jim Rector, a well-known comedian in southwestern Virginia. You got a flavor for why I had a good time in my 2 days there. Mr. Mayor, let's get right down to it. Your community, quite frankly, had to fight for the right to deploy broadband, and I'd like you to sort of tell us briefly that story, because it was a story of a good old-fashioned knockdown, drag-out battle.
It is. This is something, I guess, that none of us, myself included, and Mr. Hurley, who's present chairman of the board, we've been around the block a time or two. None of us realized what we were getting into, to be perfectly blank. We had been told, you've got the fiber optic. You know, we needed to do something with it, so we began. Now, we didn't know all of this stuff. We knew that once we jumped in the ocean, there were sharks that was going to get us. In 1996, the Telecommunication Act was passed. We thought we were home free. Now, we had done our homework. We had been meeting and discussing, setting our visions and our goals, why we needed to do this. When this communication bill was passed or done away with, we said, now's the time to go. And boy, did we. We found out in the state of Virginia that you could not, a municipality could not be involved in telecommunication. So what we done with our good attorney and others, we filed suit against the state of Virginia. Now, a little community of 13,000, sitting down where the state ended 2 hours back east of us. We decided it was time to let people know where we were. We had a state senator who really supported us, our U.S. Congressman Rick Boucher, who now heads up the subcommittee on telecommunication broadbands, and he was very supportive. So the state reversed this decision and said, yes, you can service your service area, which was our electricity area. We knew we were home free, but as we looked out, a bigger shark was coming. Our incumbent cable company filed an injunction. So we went through the process again. We won that one. We thought that would teach everyone a lesson. Then our telephone company, Sprint, said they didn't do it, we will. Now that, you know, we're getting a little bigger dog here. And so we took them on. And after over $2.5 million spent only on legal fees, we were given the okay to go. And go we did.
Okay. Why on earth did you go through all that? Why did you do that? What was the vision that drove you and the rest of the city council to keep going in spite of all
obstacles? As I said a while ago, we started meeting in the early 90s. when the congressman, we were in a meeting and he started mentioning fiber optic. So, you know, that gets your attention when your congressman says you need to be looking at this. So we began meeting. We looked at, should we go into an area that only the private sector is serving? Is that the right thing to do? And each of these questions, we had 5 utility board members, and the city said it's got to be the utility, not the city. And let me just go ahead with that and simply say this. If it had been left up to the government of 5 individuals who's elected by the people to do it, we still wouldn't be doing it. We began to hire people that knew what they're doing, the Mark Lanes, the West Rosenbaums, others back at the office, that knew what they were doing. And we said, get out of their way. We hired them, let them do it. If they can't do it, they can be replaced. But don't get the politics in this thing, because it won't happen. Because every 2 years, some members of council would be replaced. If it was going bad, you know, it would be bad. But that's one of the things that we took on. Now, we're a city of 17,300. During the early 90s, during this time, the coal mines, which is a little bit north of us, were beginning to slow down. This was due to the western coal being mined cheaper. Ours were mostly the deep mines. As they began to shut down, we all know what was happening to the tobacco industry, which made up a large portion of the income throughout our region. Unemployment in some areas was 16%. In the city of Bristol of 17,300, we had the highest per capita subsidized housing in the state of Virginia. We had a 27% of our population had not finished high school. So we had to set out to try to improve our, I guess, quality of life. We wanted to afford our students an opportunity to explore the world. Many of our students did not have computers. If they had computers, they did not have the proper networking to get out and explore. So we had to make sure our schools had the proper infrastructure they needed, our government offices, and then our local businesses. You know, when we get into economic development, most of your growth comes from your existing industries. So these were some of our visions that got us involved in getting into this. Now keep in mind, Bristol, 13.3 square miles. Median income, $20 million or $20,000.
Oh, I'm moving there. I'm moving there.
I begin to think I've been underpaid. But $20,000 is the median income. So, you know, it was not something that we could get into to make a lot of money, because it was not there with the people we wanted to serve. And our people bowed their backs. Our boards, our utility board set the vision, they set the goals, and in 1999, when they dropped the green flag and said, let's go with it, City Council supported that 100%. And we haven't looked back. Now the question is, would I do it again tomorrow?
Yeah.
We would do it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And we, you know, would we do things different?
Well, of course.
We would, but we would still do it.
Well, just to sketch some of the basic details for people who haven't had a chance to read the case study that's online now. You own your own electric utility. The electric utility installed fiber to help make itself more efficient. Said that worked pretty well, let's go into business, and became a provider of broadband, voice, and within service restriction limits, television. You've got a network that's running into neighboring counties and is a major service provider to some other businesses. So I just want to make sure we set that scene. Now, what are some of the benefits that all those customers have received as a result of the $2.5 million of taxpayer money that you had to spend to make that work?
Well, the benefits, I think, are immeasurable. I just don't think we can set out and measure the benefits that it's brought to our city. We were the first municipality in the United States to do the triple play situation. We're considered pioneers. Now, we've had to build on that. We've had to take that and go with it. Back in the beginning, $300,000 a year coming into BVU. We're projecting in 2010 somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million will be coming in through this broadband.
And BVU stands for?
Bristol, Virginia Utilities.
Okay, that's your company.
That's a city-owned utility company. Now, the city council appoints the members, but then they become independent, and that's what you want. You don't want them tied to you. And recently, we had a study done by an independent company, and they had taken the cumulative savings of everyone that was involved, and it was $10 million that our citizens have saved. And let me give you an example. In 2004, that's when they got to me, you know, I don't know why, but I connected all three of them. The last bill I paid Charter. I had my modem to my computer and my basic cable. I paid $106 a month. To Sprint, I paid $38 a month. That was $144. The bill I paid last week to the Bristol, Virginia Utilities for all three was $101. Now you take that back to 2004, and that's been a tremendous saving just to me. And of course, the other citizens have saved that much or more. So it's been a savings, but more than that, it's given our businesses and our schools. Our schools now are able to receive a world-class education. They can go into their classrooms. They can pull up, access, you know, any information they want in a speedy manner. The standardized tests are given now on the computers. So the library, we are cooperating with different agencies in the GED programs to get our citizens who did not have a high school education. We are seeing the numbers rise with high school graduates, and we think it is directly a result of this. We are seeing over in what we call the coalfield regions of our area, we are seeing this area improve also with high school dropout numbers going down, students going on. We have many students in our area who graduate from high school and have never been more than 50 miles from their home. And those are the ones that plays school athletics and go out to the other schools. And we think we're changing that. We're building interest among our young people who want to get out and venture. Also, we want them to go off to school and come back home and use their talents at home.
One of the interesting interviews I had in Bristol was with a company. It's a regional grocery store company. And they talked about how the network that BVU provides for them enables them to continue growing in a recession, to slash their turnover by about 30 to 40% from what it used to be, because they now centralize their data processing. So your store managers are no longer, well, it was Dr. Jactus's example, instead of having a lot of small boats being buffeted, they have one big, very stable, powerful boat that lets them run their operation with incredible efficiency, and you know, right there at home, right where they want to be. So how is the economy of Bristol standing up to the current recession?
Well, like all communities, we're feeling some pinch. What we are seeing is, for example, one of the largest privately owned companies in the United States is located in Bristol, mechanical company. It's owned by a Leonard family. They have our services. And the owner of the company told me just a couple weeks ago, he just recently got the largest contract he had ever gotten in his 50 years of ownership. And he contributes that to being able to use this data. And he can sit in Bristol and communicate with his 6 planes all everywhere, Mexico and on. And that helps. The people that are involved with our technology programs are not having a lot of the downtime that some of the others are. As a result of Bristol's telecommunication going out into a neighboring county which had 10 to 12% unemployment, they were able, and you visited Northrop Grumman and CGI, and these people will tell you, we would have never considered coming into Southwest Virginia had BVU not offered the service. Now, that went from, you know, double-digit employment. Now they employ over 1,300 people. How does that help Bristol? BVU, the utilities reap benefits from it. More importantly, we have residents living in Bristol that will drive the 40 miles to work. That benefits. The people that don't live in Bristol, where do they come and shop? Where do they come to dine out on the weekend? They come to Bristol. So we want them to keep coming.
So you have a real regional strategy?
Yes.
John, time for one more question? You're going to cut me off?
Better be short.
Well, that's up to his honor. In a couple of words, what advice would you offer to other rural communities that are facing the same kind of situation that Bristol faced?
Do it.
Do it. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you.